Kirk, you want to shoot something?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Hey everyone, I'm Joe with Siser North America. I have an extra special guest here in the Siser studio with me.
Kirk from Heat Transfer Warehouse. Thanks, Joe. Glad to be here. You did bring the snow in, so I'm trying to figure out whose fault it is. Mine or yours? So
I'm going to say it's your fault because you're coming from far. But anyways, I digress. You were here. Why? Why are we here? What are we talking about today?
You know, I think you hear a lot of questions and people ask a lot about, like, what do you do once you kind of have your business and you're thinking about the cutter and the heat press? Now, what do we do with it, and what kind of phases of business should I go through, and how do I do that? How do I price things?
Okay,
so
that is a topic that I hear all the time. So you're going to want to stick around. Let's get started. The first phase, like you said, you already have a vinyl cutter, you have a heat press, you're using some Siser heat transfer vinyls. The next thing you have to do is kind of dig into what kind of garments are going to work best for you. So for somebody that is just beginning in making t-shirts or starting a t-shirt business, where can they get some blanks? What are some suggestions for some good starting blanks for garments?
The funny thing to ask that, Joe, but I like, obviously we have a lot of blanks off of our website, and I always say start with some basics, get yourself comfortable with everything, and then we'll move on to the other stuff. So I found some of the ones, obviously blank t-shirts, and one of my favorites obviously is the Next Level. Fun on our site, but it's also a nice blend.
Okay.
Very soft and everything else, lots of colors, so you can have lots of options to choose with the customer what you can do. And then the other one I like is obviously the Bella Canvas sweatshirt. So, and that's obviously the two biggest things you're probably going to sell. Everybody likes a good soft sweatshirt and a soft t-shirt. So that's where I would start.
You can decorate both with heat transfer vinyl.
Both with heat transfer vinyl, very easy to decorate, and like it says, your cost is a lot less.
Right.
So when you get going, it's a little easier to get there with a little bit less expensive shirts to play with, because we all know that sometimes mistakes happen. So.
Well, now I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you do some applications for us? So one of my personal favorites here at Siser is the Easy Weed Stretch. And like you said, the Bella Canvas garment seems very, very soft, stretchable. Can you apply it for me?
All right, Joe, put me under the gun today. But I like the stretch too. That is one of my favorite go-tos. I love, like I said, the matte feel is, I think it's by far the best out there. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll put it to the test. So we got our heat press set to 320 degrees for Easy Weed Stretch. First thing Kirk wants to check is make sure that we're at even pressure. So you want to make sure you have firm and even pressure. So for those that have a heat press, make sure you look at where your pressure gauge is by using the pressure dial right there in the center of your heat press or wherever it's located on your particular heat press. And then what you want to do is close it with the garment on it before you get to the application to test what your pressure's like.
So I always like to do that too, because that would kind of get your pre-press out of the way is by doing your test on the pressure. So
pre-press for a couple seconds, see how you put down the force to make sure it closes. That means it's good pressure. So it might be different for everybody out there, but you still want to make sure you put down some force. All right, you ready for it?
I'm ready. Let's see if I get in the center or if I get crooked this time. So.
It's all about the fun of it. We'll use some parchment paper as a cover sheet. This will protect your upper platen. You sure it's placed right?
I feel it. I'm comfortable. I promise you I'll wear it either way. So.
Yes. All right, so for Siser Easy Weed Stretch, 320 degrees, firm, even pressure, and we're going to press it for 15 seconds.
Here we go.
All right. Also, what's awesome about it?
Good peel warm.
Yes. Hot peel. There you go. Antone Brew House. I know that name.
Sounds really familiar.
Yeah, it sounds really familiar. You're starting a side gig. I like it.
I feel like when I go back to Fargo, this is like, I'm going to give up the vinyl business. So.
I know it might be difficult to pick up on camera, but that, again, this is a heat transfer vinyl that was applied on there. the tone on tone, the matte finish, it still gives the effect of a ink transfer. In my opinion, if I saw that from afar, I think that was screen printing. But long term, that's going to look the way it is right now, wash after wash. So again, for doing something that simple, a one-off, no minimums, this is a great way to start with just doing t-shirts. Now let's move on to doing something a little bit thicker, a little trickier, right?
A little trickier.
Because you need to also watch out for some of these things that are on this hoodie. So if you have a sweatshirt with a hoodie with a zipper, maybe a crew neck, something like that, you need to make sure you watch for any kind of obstructions for uneven pressure. So the way that Kirk is loading this right now, he actually threaded it on that lower platen. So this way it does give an even pressure where you're at. You may still want to be cautious of where the pocket is, but because we're using a little bit of a thicker product for this next run, we'll be okay. But if you need to, you can always use a heat press pillow to fit inside of your heat press, or inside of the garment. So we're gonna do a 2-color. We're gonna pre-press, make sure the pressure is good, looks good there. All right, so what are we mixing here? We have Easy Weed Electric, and we're gonna be layering Strip Flock Pro directly on top of the Easy Weed Electric.
I'm excited.
I can't wait.
So,
all right,
Joe,
so
on
it's
this one,
cool.
1 second tack, right?
1 second tack. You make sure you have good even pressure, tack it for 1 second, and you should be able to peel hot.
Wow.
There we go. That's all it takes with any of the Easy Weed family. So if you're using Easy Weed Stretch, Easy Weed Electric, whatever it is with Easy Weed in front of it, and you're layering, you can do the 1 second tack, and that's gonna make lining up your second layer a lot nicer. So now he's gonna line up the Strip Flock Pro white directly on top of the Easy Weed Electric.
See, I even forgot one thing, Joe. I forgot my tissue paper on that round.
That's all right.
I got away with it. So now I think I have it lined up. This is my first dual layer.
I think it's good. Yeah. Again, now if you're starting in a business, this is what you're able to do by mixing medias together, because when this garment is done, it is now going to up the overall value, and we'll get to that, but let's get this press going.
All right.
So now, since this is the final layer, so the 2 colors, 2 layers, he's going to now apply it for the full 15 seconds. The heat press is still set to 315 degrees now. And since we're mixing these 2 medias together, we found a middle between the 305 for Easy Weed Electric and the 320 for Strip Flock Pro. We went to 315.
No.
So another amazing thing about the Strip Flock Pro is it's a hot peel.
Hot peel on a flock.
Look at that. Come on now. I almost believe you have a brew house now. I would wear that.
Like I got a brew house. This is so fun.
I'm not even joking. That looks sharp. This looks sharp. Again, 2 easy projects with 2 awesome startup type of blank garments. Now, Kirk, in your opinion, since you offer both the Siser product as well as the blanks, what would you charge for something like this?
You know, that's the question everybody asks. And like literally t-shirts like this, you're coming out, you're doing 1s, 2s, even up to like a few, even a dozen. You should be easily asking for around $20 for a shirt.
A one-off. So remember, there are no minimums. So you have a lot of benefit when you have that versus the competitors that have minimums. So if a customer came to you and wanted 1 shirt like this, you can absolutely do that. Now, what about this hoodie?
Now the hoodies, obviously, perceived value of a hoodie is way higher. And I would say you start at around 40 to 45 just for a hoodie.
That's fair.
And you're making good money on it, and you should be making good money on it.
Right. And not only that, but then again, the products that were used on this example are Easy Weed Electric, which also gives off this flashy finish that you're not going to get from any kind of inks, as well as the Strip Flock Pro, which gives a overall dimension to the design, a suede feel, a really nice finish. I mean, that right there, I think, would up the value in itself.
Easily that. I mean, obviously, with the 2 color, that adds a lot of value immediately. And so you could even be talking $50.
It's up to you.
Just by perceived value and what you're doing with it. And you look at it like, these are like your entry level type cost-effective garments, and yet you're getting nice value.
Absolutely. And again, no minimums. So that's all it takes. A little bit of heat transfer vinyl, a vinyl cutter, and a heat press, and some awesome blanks, and that's how you can get started. Let's move on to some accessories.
I'm excited. Accessories, because obviously after this, they always want more.
You already have a good idea of just beginning, whether you're just getting started with decorating shirts or starting a business with customizing t-shirts. You can simply just do t-shirts, hoodies, simple things like that. But once the business starts rolling, you may get customers that start asking for some extra special kind of accessory type things. So we have a couple examples here that we're going to decorate. But Kirk, what does Heat Transfer Warehouse offer in regards to those kind of blanks?
Yeah, with your business, obviously, you always see people ask for more and more. And they're not just going to say, hey, I want a shirt, but now I want something to go with that shirt, or I want to go something to go be able to give away to the customers or their customers. And so you'll quickly see that your shop will progress. And with accessories, you can see, obviously, you can have hats. Those are extremely popular. We got, standard cap. We also got the, for cold weather. And then also you have bags. And that's all falling on our website, too. And so eventually you're going to want to be going into accessories because it's a very easy markup and quick to add value to the customer. They're like, hey, you just do shirts? No, we can do it all. And it's all available.
And all of these things can be decorated or customized with heat transfer vinyl.
Correct.
Okay, well, I'm going to put you to the test once again. So we're going to decorate the bag first, and we're going to do exactly like what we did in the last portion, which is customizing with two different Siser products here. We're going to be using Easy Weed Electric again and layering the Strip Lock Pro directly on top of it onto the bag. So what's the first thing we're going to do on that heat press?
Got to make sure you test our pressure and make sure everything's correct.
Absolutely.
So we're going to go with the bag first.
So the bag, because of the seams, I'm going to suggest probably popping this heat press pillow inside there. So we want to make sure we still have flat, even pressure. And with bags like this, you can run into where the seams are. You can run into where the handles are. You want to be careful. So using a heat press pillow can achieve even pressure in the area you're pressing. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to lay down the Easy Weed Electric first. And again, the heat press is set to 315 degrees. That's the middle ground between Easy Weed Electric, which is 305 degrees Fahrenheit, and then the Siser Strip Lock Pro, which is 320 degrees.
I love the green beer.
And 1 second tack. Hot peel, fast application. All right. So again, time is money, right? So fast applications for two colors, the 1 second tack, adding another layer on it is going to cause more time for you to do more things to decorate. But with that last layer we're pressing here, we're going to press it with the cover sheet.
Oh, see how you put it's a little pressure for me, Joe.
That's all right. I mess up all the time too. But for ideal, you want to use a cover sheet just to protect your upper platen. Once we did that, we're going to press it for the full 15 seconds. That's going to cure that Easy Weed Electric layer as well as the Strip Lock Pro layer. And the Strip Lock Pro is a hot peel, so look at that.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
This is making me want to carry a bag around. How about that? Very sharp. Okay. Well, I see that. That's just another thing that we can add. Customizing some bags. Have some garb for your customer to walk away with. How about this hat, though? I've been really eyeballing that. Because I know up in the north, we both know that it gets cold here in winters, as we were saying.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So, these kind of skull caps or beanies are kind of the look or the fashion during winter. They go really well with the hoodie we just decorated. But I want to decorate one of these because these I see all the time because they're acrylic, they're super stretchy. Now, my personal opinion when it comes to decorating with heat transfer vinyl is you want to be a little bit more subtle on the design. You don't need to do anything overkill on the cap itself. So I think going as subtle as using a little piece of Siser glitter, I think that's going to really accentuate this hat all the way around. So what do you think? Cool?
I'm cool.
All right, well, let's get the pressure first. All right, as you see, like Kirk is going to the edge of the heat press because the area we're pressing is going to be the thickest part. So he can just lay that off the edge of the heat press. And now we can, were we good on pressure?
I think we're ready.
Okay. This is a first for you, isn't it?
It is a first for me. I'm nervous. My palms are sweaty.
Don't be too nervous. Let's do this. So Kirk's first time pressing one of these kind of hats. Let's do it without a cover sheet, but that's okay. We'll be all right. I have to call you out
because I forget the
I get called out all the time, so I have to call you out. No, that's
next
fair.
class we'll do is cleaning the platinum.
Yeah, right.
Reverse stick something.
Oh, it's looking good. It's looking good because with Siser glitter, we can peel hot. Nice.
There we go.
Nice. Now, very sharp, very subtle. We left a little piece on there. It's all right. It's going to add a little extra.
That was my weeding error.
That's okay. Now, it's very important, though, with these because I know the first thing that everyone wants to do is instantly stretch them out. Do not stretch these kind of hats right after you press them because all that's going to do is warp your heat transfer vinyl transfer on the on the hat itself. So give it some time. Wait 24 hours before you start wearing this kind of hat and stretching it out. Another key thing as well, for those that don't know, anything you decorate garment-wise that you are washing, give it 24 hours before you throw it in the wash. This is going to allow the adhesive of the Siser heat transfer vinyl to actually fully bond to that textile. So give it some time, but I gotta say, this is sharp. Another thing that I would definitely rock, another accessory that you can add, that you can offer to a local business, like your brew house apparently, that I'm missing out on, because as well as, like you said, this hat you wear all the time, right?
Wear all the time.
Decorated with, looks like some print and cut.
Print and cut, and like I said, it's been last a lifetime. I wear it all the time and beat on it. So again, obviously the good accessories, and I always tell people is, always tell your customer when they can pick up the next day after. So at least your stuff is sitting and it's cooled off, so they don't go off and like all of a sudden wear it or throw it in the washer without you knowing about it.
Right. So now this is the next phase. Again, we had the beginner phase of where you could start with shirts and sweaters and those kind of garments. Now we have an accessory. So just ballpark, Kirk, since we'll just ask, what would you charge for a bag like this as a finished good?
So you're picking up a bag, and the bags are probably running anywhere, $3 to $6, $7, depending on which one you pick out. And quickly, you're going to offer a bag like this. You're talking accessories like this. You're going in obviously $15 to $20. Okay. Immediately going to be going up there in accessories and with a little minimal amount of cost into it. So that would be easy for people to pick that up real late.
Okay.
So.
And what about this awesome hat?
Hats go in. They start off anywhere, honestly, from like $3 to $6 a blank. But I pay for a hat, no problem, every day, $19.95, just like that.
Even customized with Siser glitter?
Customized with Siser glitter might be higher, might be $25. I mean, I pay for hats easily in the $25 to $30 range. Nobody flinches. So make sure you get when you deserve on them. And
absolutely.
Nobody will flinch at $25 to $30. They'll pick up a hat anytime.
Remember to not undercut yourself on any of that pre-production. So the art setup, the actual cutting of the heat transfer vinyl, the weeding, the application side, all of that needs to go into the bottom line when you are offering to your end user. So it's very important for you to consider that, as well as just your cost for materials.
Correct. You want to make sure you're getting and making money, because the whole goal is you want to make sure you're making money so you can also buy more equipment, buy more stuff.
Grow your business.
Grow your business, and you never know.
Grow your business what? Like to our next phase?
To our next phase, which we talk about is more of the corporate feel, more corporate style, higher end garments, a little bit less decorating, but you're going to get more money for it.
Let's show them.
Yeah.
We have the beginning, the middle, and the final phase here for starting a business, Of course, there's many other phases. We're being dramatic. But for phase 3, we want to go into more of this high fashion, sort of corporate-y. How would you describe the garments that are before us?
This is obviously from our Travis Matthew collection, which is also available on our website. But you think about it, is like it's when you get into that business cycle where people are more professional side of it, they tend to want their garments decorated, but they want it more subtle, but they also want a little bit nicer, higher end garment. And so I just want to tell you, don't be afraid to do these, because it's actually, you can decorate them just like the other stuff, but you can command a very nice price.
That's the thing. And I'm sure some of you indulge in buy expensive garments that for yourself, right? Because they have a brand name on them. And that's kind of the reality of it, is that the cost you're paying for it is certainly not what the cost is to make it. I don't know, could you give ballpark costs for things like this as a blank?
As a blank, like this piece here we have which is more of a pullover quarter zip sweatshirt. You're looking at, with the Travis Matthew collection, you're around $65 to $75. Okay, but you're going to command a nice price for it. You're going to command a premium to it because you're offering premium garments. And so there again, you look at it as you grow into those areas, it's definitely going to be advantageous to you to do that. Now you look at this golf jacket. Obviously, if you want to do more of the golfer or the outdoors person, but they also like to wear them in the office.
Absolutely.
And so this can be upwards around $85 to $90. But again, when you're selling to them, they are not going to flinch about paying a premium.
No, because the quality of the garment is there. So this is the phase where you're confident, you're comfortable in your business, right? We started with some of the beginner phases, we added some accessories, and now we're getting into where there's high quality in the actual manufacturing of the blanks. So you have options for that. And sometimes this is the phase, as Kirk said, where you don't want to maybe go too big with your transfer. So we're going to actually press on this jacket here, and we're going to use Siser Brick 600, which is a very, very unique product. If you haven't ever used it, it's our thickest heat transfer vinyl. And sometimes people ask, well, when would I actually use Brick 600? A lot of people look at it as maybe some of those examples we showed in the first shirts where there's giant logos. It's a heavier product, but this is a prime example of where a small, subtle design can really accentuate an already really sharp blank garment like this by just adding a couple little attributes, and from there, just up the value to what you would charge to your end user. So
I love the brick for this, and a great example of, you have customers, they're going to want to wear this, they want to write off, they want to be able to company garment, but they don't want it completely over the top.
Right.
Very subtle, and brick is perfect for this.
It is. So let's try it. I'm going to let you do this because, again, it's a little too rich for my taste. So we're going to press, and this is another case where you may see this. On the right, there's already a logo that's embroidered onto the garment. So if you're looking for a spot to decorate, it still has a sharp right side where we're going to put just a subtle little logo with Brick 600 on the right side, and then we're going to get risky and add the Brick 600 to a sleeve of the garment up on the shoulder. So we'll start. The way I would personally attack this is I would unzip the garment. First things you want to watch when you're working with zippers, especially again on a more of a higher ended blank, you want to make sure you're careful with the zippers. Make sure that if they are plastic teeth, you keep them off the heat press. And so I think in this case it's metal, so you should be okay, but I'm still going to be careful, and I'm going to set that up on the heat press. I'm going to use a heat press pillow and feed it on the inside of the garment where I'm going to be pressing. We'll test the pressure.
Test some pressure here.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So with the Brick 600, because it is so thick, we actually have to press this for 20 seconds at 320 degrees.
So Joe, any tips as far as lining up on obviously right or left chest? I mean, people always question that.
I know, and that's a good question because what I'll typically do is I'll follow the edge of the zipper. So I'll look at the edge of the zipper and I'll look at the edge of my transfer and I'll try to get them as parallel as I possibly can. I also, another thing that's difficult is sometimes people apply it too far into almost the armpit of the garment. You need to also look to just kind of gauge how far away from the zipper you want it to be and where it's going to fall onto the chest. I think where we're at right here is actually perfect.
Okay.
We'll do a cover sheet.
Oh yeah, I'm finally getting it there.
Okay, so I know in the other applications we've done, they've all been hot peels, but Brick 600 is a cold peel. So you want to make sure you take it off the heat press because you don't want to leave it on there to cool because it's gonna take a little bit for it to cool down. So what Kirk's doing, just slightly bump it up against the cool surface you're working on, a wall, whatever you're on, or you just set it aside and go on to the next thing. So we're gonna just give that a couple seconds. It doesn't really take too much, just a few seconds there.
Okay.
And then once you're good, you can peel the carrier. There we go. Look at that.
Wow.
Now that is sharp.
I love it.
That is sharp. Well, we're not done yet. So we're going to even
sleeve.
add another fine detail to the sleeve up at the shoulder. Again, this is 600 microns. So this is over 10 times thicker than Easy Weave. No, I'm sorry. That wasn't right. This is over 7 times thicker than Easy Weave. And so with the detail that you can still cut with the Brick 600 is pretty incredible. So we're going to go pretty small and detailed and up on the corner. Trick I have for the sleeves too,
Okay.
is I always look at the seam on the shoulder, and the seam is the center. So for me, what I'll do is I'll gauge the placement from the seam up at the shoulder of the jacket, and then I'll kind of place it from there on down. Usually you see a seam right there, and that's usually the center of it as well. But not all of them have that, so I would probably pop that
I got my pillow in.
right about here. Your pressure should be good. We're gonna go up on the shoulder.
Remember my tissue paper.
Cover sheet. We're just using parchment paper, so if you have a non-stick cover sheet, you can use that too. And then press for another 20 seconds. Again, it's very important with Brick 600 because it's so thick that you give it the full 20 seconds and you're pressing at 320 degrees. All right, cold peel again. All right. Oh, come on now. That is, I mean,
Yes.
you're gonna have to wear it.
I had to wear
You're
it.
gonna have to totally show it off. The Antone Brewery walking away with a really sharp jacket. Honestly, if I got that at a brewery, I would pay top dollar for that. Perfectly placed right there on the shoulder. Look at that. Do a little spin. Check it out. Travis Matthew. I mean, that's so.
I like it.
Again, finished, complete. It looks sharp. It's subtle. You guys wanted to see what, if you ever asked yourself, like, what would you do with Siser Brick 600? This is a prime example that just added that much more value to this already really sharp blank. So, again, just to close it up, what would you charge for something like that?
Somebody's easily going to pick this up, and they're going to easily go into that 150 to 175 range for a nice jacket like this. And it is truly a nice jacket with a nice accent, very subtly decorated. So I can wear it pretty much anywhere, like office, in the golf course, everywhere else.
And it's gonna last a long time. That's the key of it. It's very fashion forward. It's got a unique design. That's another awesome thing about it is you can customize it, you personalize it, whether it's for yourself, your customers, and this is all it takes to show the capacity that you could bring to your new business. I like it. And then you got other options like this. This is
Yes.
sharp. And then if you wanted to go your classic polo, You know, the polo is always a
Polos
good
are
option.
always very popular, and you can easily, I mean, with polos, everybody's paying, you know, in that 50 to 75 hours for a custom polo. And that way you can wear it to work and wear up your brand, and not a problem. And again,
yeah,
you're making good money.
fashion, corporate look. I mean, just anything in general. You have a whole plethora of different styles of where you want to cater to. You know, so if you want to go the edgier route, you have those options. If you want to take this route and you want to go into more of the corporate group kind of opportunity, there is a lot of potential in that. You just kind of have to figure out what is the best niche for you, where to begin. I think we covered it, man. I think we're at the point where we got a good idea for everybody watching, hopefully, that you can kind of get some confidence of where you can begin your business at, whether it's at that start, just doing t-shirts and hoodies, or going to the middle ground where you're doing accessories as well, or you're doing some awesome fashion or corporate looks for top dollar. It's up to you. It's up to what you want. But where can everyone get all this stuff at?
Obviously, I always remind people, Heat Transfer Warehouse, we have all this stuff on our site and they'll selling. And just remember, scalability is unlimited for you when you got your business going. So just think about that. You don't have to say no. Get comfortable starting with the beginning and look at the scalability you have. And like I said, there's not necessarily a final chapter, but there's definitely many, many avenues to go into. We can't even talk about how many accessories and everything else we could be doing, but there's a lot of things to be offering, and that scalability is key with growing your business.
Absolutely. And Heat Transfer Warehouse is an authorized Siser distributor. So if you are looking for anything that we make at Siser, Heat Transfer Warehouse definitely carries it. So again, it's up to you on how you want to mix the two worlds together. And if you're even looking for any equipment, I mean, you have all the equipment you need to get started. In case you didn't have a vinyl cutter or a heat press, I know I said that right off the rip, but if you're looking for any of that.
Exactly. We have all the equipment to get you going started, and also have the equipment to get you scalability, which means if you are really high flying and you're cranking a whole bunch of stuff, we have every level of your business as you go along. So when you start off with this basic heat press and you also got a craft cutter, there is options to grow there. And we have all those options for you.
Well, thank you so much, Kirk. Appreciate you hanging out. I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you learned some stuff. Again, I hope you got confident and you can expand your business if you have one already or you're just getting started. There's a lot of potential out there, and we hope you can get started today. I'm Joe with Siser North America.
Kirk with Heat Transfer Warehouse.
And thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you very soon.